Production 57830, Knightmares. This episode was written by Tom Green and Janice Hendler. It was directed by Sydney Ayers. This episode originally aired on NBC Sunday night, December 11th, 1983 at 8 p.m. It was filmed from October 17th through the 25th of 1983. It was the 31st episode to air, but the 32nd to be produced. The synopsis reads as follows. After nearly being killed in an explosion, Michael reverts back to his former identity as Michael Long. So with that, let's dig in.
Knight Rider has been sponsored in part by Better Baby Ruth and Better Butterfinger, now both with richer chocolate taste.
Here's the insert car, and it's a rare time we see the insert car kind of pulled back a little bit from just Michael's face. We actually see the roof, more of the windshield, the dash, and we can see here that the overhead console in this insert car is not as form-fitting as the hero car, which is to be expected because, again, this angle was not meant to be seen very often. Normally it would be a more close-up shot where you wouldn't see this part up here. So that's why this is the way it is. So anytime you see the console that's not form-fitting, it's either this car or the left-hand blind drive car. And we're back to Devin with his dyed hair. This is a good way to tell what episodes were filmed in what order because in Soul Survivor we see his darkened hair and we see it again here in Knightmares. And incidentally, Soul Survivor was filmed immediately prior to this episode. So there you go. And now we've got Michael chasing Frank Poole in the truck. This is the Sepulveda Dam in outside of Los Angeles. Still there today, although it doesn't look nearly as good. They're running along the, I guess this is the catch basin over here. I don't know, dam terms. Not dam terms, but dam terms. Anyways, so driving along here, we can look at it today kind of from the other angle. So Kit ran down this area right here. You can still see there's a little bit of a dirt road there and came up to the dam here. As you can see, the dam has been heavily vandalized with graffiti and other stuff, but still there. Michael stops, climbs up this ladder. This ladder was added for the production. It was simply draped over this part of the dam. It wasn't attached in any way. And actually you can see and hear that when Michael's climbing up the ladder. You can hear it clanking. You could see it moving. It was just draped over just so Hasselhoff had a way to get up and over the dam easily. So then we come to this area. This is supposedly a secret door in the side of the dam. And Michael was able to apparently tell that because he sees these bolts are rusted and then there's some clean ones here. And we can see he moves forward and examines them, and then there's this mysterious door that opens and he goes in. So we'll check this out in detail. We'll look at satellite views of this particular area of the dam in a little bit because there's some better views of that outside I want to show you first. But we'll look at this and see what's actually in this area and hint it's not a secret door. Frank throws down a grenade and Michael gets launched by the explosion. Did you ever notice, if you look down here at the bottom, you can actually see the, I know this has a name, but I can't remember, this spring-type platform. So the stuntman would stand on this platform, and then through compressed air, I believe, this platform would launch the stuntman up into the air, and that's what you're seeing down here is the end of that platform. And I guess here we can talk about the secret wall here. So actually, on location at Sepulveda Dam, they did put all of these nuts in place, and they rusted some of them and left some of them clean here. But this gives us kind of a better view of the whole dam, like where this is situated in the dam as a whole. So looking at this, let's look at it today. So here it is today, looking slightly worse for wear. And this is that, this right here, this crease is right here. So you can see all of those bolts were added. They're not here. So what's on the other side of this wall? Is it a secret room? No, it's not. We look at the aerial view. This is the area right here where that secret door was. On the other side of that is actually just the LA River. So clearly, in case you didn't know, all of those scenes with the inner workings of the dam, the gears, the pumps, all that stuff, was filmed elsewhere. Most likely on a soundstage at Universal Studios. So there you go. Yeah, and we move here, and you're going to get another angle of the stuntman flying up, and you can just see the shadow of the platform down below. And once again, now from this angle, and you can see a side view of this platform right here. That's what this is down below. Okay, so moving forward, this is Marty Schiff. This was one of Marty's first roles in Hollywood. We talked to him a number of years ago. He said the audition was very straightforward. He showed up, did a few lines, and went home and waited for the phone to ring. He got the role on the very first audition. He's pretty much just spent his day in the cab and with Hasselhoff. So he says, even though it's a short scene, we actually spent most of the day riding around in the cab. David was very friendly and, unlike many stars, a genuinely nice guy. I'm glad he has had a successful career. He deserves it. I did not meet the other cast, but I did get an education that day learning about how many different kits there were. So Knightmares, he says, and we know, was directed by Sidney Ayers, and Schiff still remembers how he received motivation from the director. Schiff says, so he was working on his character relationship and objectives. He walked up to Sidney, the director, and asked him, what is my motivation in this scene? The director, Sidney, who had been in the business forever and was a seasoned pro, looked at me and with a thick British accent said, motivation? You're a cab driver. You drive the bloody cab. So there you go. So even though Schiff's scene is only just about a minute long, he says it did take most of the morning and spilled into the afternoon to film this one brief scene. They filmed it from a number of different takes and a number of different angles. There you go. And by the way, this cab that he's driving is the very same cab we see at the end of Merchants of Death taking Camilla Claremont off. So Michael is lost, wandering down the street, trying to find anyone or anything that's familiar to him. And it's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but he walks right by Kit. Right there. There is the front of one of the Knight Rider cars just parked in the parking lot. So, Kit, Devin, and April are searching for Michael, but apparently Kit was dropping the ball because he walked right by him. Anyways, so this marks one of the extremely, extremely rare times in the series that someone besides Michael drives Kit. Here we have April and Devin in Kit. Without Michael, April is driving Kit. This is the one and only time April or Rebecca Holden drives Kit. We asked her about this at the time, and she remembered how thrilling it was, but how it was a little bit stressful because, she's used as an actress to hitting marks and saying lines, but in this case, she had to drive a car and hit a mark. So she said it was a little bit more challenging, but hey, she has fond memories, and she's pleased to be able to say to this day that she got to drive Kit. So Kit self-activates whenever he detects Michael, and we see this close-up of Kit. And if you'll notice, there is a hood pin right here on the hood. This is actually the roll cage acrylic window jump car, and this is the most close-up shot we ever see of the front. So they had hood pins on the hood because this car was normally flying through the air. and they wanted to ensure that the hood didn't fly up. And then we move forward and we see Kit driving off. This is still the roll-caged acrylic window jump car with the windows tinted. But take a look at this. Did you ever notice during this scene when Kit drives and races around the corner how much the rear end is sagging? It's sagging because this car has been through a number of jumps, a number of stunts, and it's been patched back together, and the body lines are off. And that's what you see here. You see how this body line, how it just droops, the whole rear end droops? That's why. So we get this great point of view shot of Kit self-driving to find Michael, supposedly self-driving. In reality, this is, I believe, the hero car. It's kind of hard to tell, but you can just make out the gull-wing steering wheel here, and we see someone's hand right here. And if we go ahead, we actually see someone else's hand on the passenger side, right there and there. So there's actually two people in this car right now, and then they're filming from the roof. And we see Michael just barreling through a construction site here, and the ensuing turbo boost to come. This is on Woodbridge Street in North Hollywood. This is probably one of my favorite turbo boosts of the entire series. But take a look at this building over here, this housing unit or apartment complex. I'm not sure what it is. And we'll take a look at it today. It is all still there, exactly the same. This is the intersection that Kit turbo boosted through. So we'll move ahead. There he is flying through the air. So let's move ahead a little. Come down here. And there's where the jump is. Actually, take a look at this. See this light right here? Still there today. Right there. Same house, same everything. So that's where the jump happened. And then Kit lands. This is one of the rare times we see Kit's landing, and this was a very, very hard landing. I'm actually surprised they didn't cut and show a different landing here. And then the alley where Michael's cornered and he starts firing at Kit. So this is actually a pass-through alley, also in the same vicinity. The art department or the set department just put a bunch of greenery here to make it look like it was a dead end, but in reality, this street keeps going. And then we get this fantastic view of the interior of Kit, one of the best shots we pretty much ever see of the interior of the hero car. And you can see there's somewhere on the steering wheel we got a button popping out, but for the most part, it's looking really good. And this right here, this little box here with the silver knob, this is actually the controller for the front scanner. So there's a toggle switch, which you can't really see, and then this knob controls the speed of the scanner. And you know me, I always like to pause on inserts like this to see what they actually say. So it's, again, another newspaper. We've seen this newspaper in previous episodes. Obviously not with this heading, but a progressive community daily, mail daily. And take a look at the text underneath. Many persons feel at this stage that some legal action is forthcoming, but it now becomes common knowledge that there is pressure from the inside which will materially change the subject of the case. The facts regarding the situation remain the same, state the authorities. Details concerning the action have been given a preliminary investigation, but it felt that only by a more detailed study will the true facts become known. Talk about your random gibberish where you're saying a lot of stuff and you're not saying anything at all. These are the same paragraphs that we saw in all those previous newspapers that we covered too. The one that's coming to mind is Whitebird, right? When Michael pulls out the newspaper and sees Stevie has been arrested. Take a look at that. You'll see it's pretty much this exact same newspaper, just with a different heading. Meets back up with Michael on Royal Oak Road in Los Angeles. And kind of a few neat scenes happen here. So we've got this mail carrier who's trying to deliver mail. And of course, he sees the sight of Kit driving by himself and loses the mail cart. This is all pretty much the same. There's the brick post where he put the mail in. There's this house with the entryway. That's all exactly the same. And then we have Michael doing one of his best turbo boost faces. And we see this launch, which is also on Royal Oak Road in Los Angeles. Then he spins around, and we can see now the mail carrier is further down. He was up this road a bit. This is still Royal Oak Road. He was up here doing the mail. Now he's all the way down here somehow. Let's try and find that. 15901. Because why not? Let's just see what it looks like. So The turbo boost would have happened way down, like on this road right here. And then, yeah, right here. So there's 15,901. So we don't get too much. We see some boulders here, and let's try and recreate this scene. Yeah, look, there's those boulders still there. Are they the exact same ones? They might be the same, but they've been moved. But look, that pole, there's that pole right there. There's that pole right there. And then there's the angle, you know, the curve of the road there. Same curve of the road you see here. So there you go. This is right where Kit turbo boosts and flies down this road. So Michael returns to the dam where he's shot at almost instantly. Gets back in Kit. This is the insert car. You can see the chrome coat hooks. That's the dead giveaway there. Michael now heads to Kane's wallet shop and to have the wallet examined that Kara gave him. So he's getting back into Kit, and this whole shopping plaza, for those of you that like this sort of thing, is all still here today. It's been given a facelift, but it's all the same. So we walked through here. Kit parked right where this van was, and then they drove off. So that's them driving off, and yeah, looks like that building is still the same, still there. So that's nice, hasn't changed. Michael then promptly arrives at Caras condo, and we see this awesome sculpture, which is something I always remember because of how much they focus on and how many times you see it in the scenes at the apartment complex. So this building, for those of you who aren't sick of the filming locations yet, is at Wilshire and Holmby Avenues. It's a condominium complex. And the cool thing is, you look today, look what's still there. Still got that same art piece right there where it's always been. But the doors to the place are over here, so Kit kind of drives in here and drives through this area and back out, which I guess it almost looks like it's almost sidewalk, but that must have been, at least at the time, a driveway in. So you can see here, this was all open back in 1983. That almost looks like Devon's Mercedes. It's not, though, but whatever. So yeah, that was all open. That almost looks like Buck Rayburn's limousine from Custom Kit, but it's not. Anyways. So we see Michael and Kit getting out. Let's see if this background is still there. Let's check it out here. Yep, look at that. That's all the same too. So nice to see this stuff is all still there. And we see Kit driving away, self-driving. This is one of the times where they didn't do the best job at making Kit appear to drive himself. They forgot to put the blackout in the PMD seat on the passenger side. So you see this big bulky seat here and a regular seat here. Makes you think something's up, but whatever. And then here's that building again, but look at all the spectators up here. I mean, there's not a ton, but there's some kids here watching, a girl down there, and some other people watching the action, which would have been amazing to be there during the filming of some of this stuff. So Michael is about to jump off the edge of the railing. He pushed Frank Poole. Frank's down for the count. He jumps, and then they cut scenes, and all of a sudden Frank's there, making it look like he actually pushed him over the edge. So, whatever. All right. So this is a pretty neat scene. This is the insert car. This is the scene where the seat raises up and catches Michael. This is the insert car. You can tell by the chrome coat hook and a few other things. This is a car we currently own. So you're probably asking yourself, how did they achieve this? They actually cut out the floorboard of this car, a big hole, and they put a ram in underneath the car on the ground. They attached the PMD seat to that ram, and when they activated it, it pushed the seat up. Then, whenever Michael got in, they released the pressure, and the seat fell back down. So, if you were to look at this car today, there is a giant, and I mean giant, 1/4-inch thick steel plate welded back in where they had to cut out the hole for this particular effect. And then we cut to Michael on the just leaving after he gets caught. Caught by Kit falling from the apartment building. He leaves. This is now the hardtop stunt car. So we can see here by the squared off overhead, you can see this is actually a really good view of the fake T-top. So this is just a strip that they glued or riveted down to the roof, and you can see the rest of it is smooth. This car actually does not have any T-tops. And for those of you wondering how many cars were used in this episode, there were actually 8 different Knight Rider cars used. So we've got some of them were train wreck cars. We've got the insert car, the roll cage acrylic window jump car, the hero car. We have the flivver car. We have the hardtop stunt car, which you see here. We've got the left-hand blind drive car, and we've got 2 other general purpose stunt cars. So this episode went through more cars than normal. More cars than normal were used in the filming of this episode. Michael does a 180 to escape the cops. We can see we've got some spectators over here on the left-hand side now. We can also see some carpet here housing some of the camera equipment, which is just barely visible down here at the bottom. So then we move to the semi, and April hands Michael his new comm link. If you look closely, this is actually not the same comm link that we all know and love. This is just a generic prop watch that she's giving him for this scene. And once again, another great insert shot. This one they actually put a little bit more effort in as opposed to the newspaper we saw earlier. So this says Bedford City Police Crime Database. And then it says subject, Franklin R. Poole, Social Security number, born, it looks like August 11th, 1952. And it says his education, Washington County High School, Kansas State Teachers College, and it's kind of hard to read. Intermittent student with large gaps in attendance, no degree, and then arrests, armed robbery in Seattle. Subject was apprehended in the act of robbing a convenience store at the corner of Rubin and 7th in downtown Seattle slightly after dark. Subject was armed with a small caliber revolver. Subject surrendered after a brief struggle and was cooperative. Case dismissed due to lack of evidence. So that one screen actually gives you a little bit more background into Frank Poole that we don't actually see in or hear in the episode. So Michael now heads to Frank Poole's art studio, and we can see some art sculptures out here, and Michael pulls up to this garage door. This building is still there today, looking similar, right? It's now behind a gate, but there's the 16147 Runnymede Street in Los Angeles, and there's the door that he would eventually crash through. And I always like this art sculpture, which is in reality a bunch of bumpers. They're like Chevy pickup bumpers or whatever. But apparently that's art. I don't know. What do I know? So Michael returns to the Sepulveda Dam here. And by the way, Sepulveda Dam returns. We see it again in Redemption of a Champion in the 4th season. But here's Michael. He leaves Kit's door open, whatever. And then he runs over to that fake wall here, which we already showed you. This is actually the LA River on the other side. And in a nice piece of continuity, Michael left the door open. And in this scene, when Kit self-activates to go save him, he actually closes the door first, which is kind of surprising, knowing all the continuity errors with this show, that they remembered to add that effect in before Kit drove off. This is the left-hand blind drive car, by the way. And then Michael runs up here. This is still the left-hand blind drive car. We can see by the tow bar. We can see the right-hand side sun visor, and of course the bulky PMDC right there. And it's a special day for you guys. Here's the white wire right there. This is the hero car. We don't see a close-up of the exterior of the hero car like this too often. But there is the white wire making another appearance. You're welcome. So now we have Kit launching a turbo boost. This is actually the roll-caged acrylic window jump car now. And if you look underneath, you can actually see the ramp a little bit. It's partially obscured by the railing from the dam, but there's the jump. And then Michael gets out now of the hero car and helps Kara out from this grate, which looks like she probably could have just pushed it up and climbed out, but whatever. So just to give you some perspective, so the turbo boost happened right here. They just did a very short ramp launch, and then the rest of it was miniatures. And then the miniatures were supposed to, duplicate or replicate them hitting the side of this building. But right here, so Michael comes here and he spins around, and right about here, and then he helps Cara out. But as you can see, I don't know what this is right here, but it's not this. This was added. They put this in. My guess is whoever's in there, probably a stunt woman, was maybe laying on her side or sitting up. This isn't tall enough for her, so it's probably sitting down, sitting up, and holding on to the top there. But it would have been right about here. So that's something that special effects added. And we get a great look here. Sepulveda right there, Sepulveda Dam. And the episode ends with Michael regaining his memory, and in honor of that, apparently Flannery Rowe from Nobody Does It Better decides to follow, because yes, this footage is recycled from that first season episode. Alrighty, we have concluded our analysis of Knightmares. I hope you enjoyed it. Next up is the Christmas-themed episode, which is one of only, 2 holiday-themed episodes the Knight Rider ever did. Silent Night. Thanks for watching, guys. Always appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon.
And now, while we listen to Joe's selection of Knight Rider music that we received directly from Don Peake himself, we'd like to thank these Patreon supporters. Look at you guys scrolling up the screen to my right. Wait a minute, how can you tell which side is my right, since you can't see me because I'm not on camera? Oh well, you know what I mean. We're featuring these fine supporters at our Knight Rider Prop Restorer level. Thank you very much for your support. And for those of you at the Knight Rider History Hunter level, we're recognizing you right now in the description. Now, if you enjoyed seeing this golden nugget of Knight Rider history being rescued from obscurity, then please consider supporting us on Patreon. Your support would empower us to bring you even more of these historical nuggets. We are the Knight Rider Historians. Till next time, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.